Hello out there, all you woefully stranded, soon-to-be lovers. Today we continue with our unexpected romantic comedy theme with Ivan Reitman's 6 Days, 7 Nights. It's no Ghostbusters. It might not even be a Stripes. I mean, not even really a Junior. But it's a movie, and we watched it. Here at Crushed Celluloid. Doing 6 Days, 7 Nights from 1998, and I have to start off by correcting myself. In the last podcast I mentioned that 6 Days, 7 Nights, if I remembered correctly, was like Castaway without being what do you call it? Funny? Capable, I guess, for lack of a better word. It was a C word.
It's neither of those things.
No, it's not. It's without being compelling.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's also not that.
So it is not that. It is more like the rejected Tom and Jerry sequel movie script without being compelling.
Yeah. Well, the entire time I was watching this, because this is the exact kind of movie I thought it was going to be, just like a romantic action comedy. Or
yeah.
That's what it's trying to be. But yeah, when you said, like, no, I think it's more serious, and I was waiting for that this whole movie, and I was like, nope. I think I was right.
I realized very early on how wrong I was with that estimation. But I realized what happened is that all I knew is I didn't remember the movie much, and I didn't like it when I saw it when it was in theaters, like, and I guess we were like 13, maybe 12, 14, somewhere in that range. And, oh no, wait, I would have been 11.
Yeah.
And all I remembered was the parts about survival. Like, the kind of survivalist things they do. Like, the only thing I really remember is when they get that plane buoy down the stream. Only scene I remembered from the movie. And
you could have just as easily seen, like, the River Wild when you were a kid and just not remember.
And the thing is that those are the most captivating parts of the movie, but they're not even that good. Like, it speaks more to how dire the rest of the movie is than how they got anything else right.
Surprisingly, though, this movie was a big hit. Like, not humongous,
really,
but it was the 27th top grossing film of 1998.
Not bad.
It made like 165 million worldwide. And like 75 domestic. And I think on IMDb it said it had like a $70 million budget, which just seems ridiculous to me.
That, like, the budget...
That has to be Harrison Ford's paycheck, like a third of that.
Oh, yeah, because it's not Anne Heche's.
No.
But, I guess let's start off by talking about this is a fucking Ivan Reitman movie.
I had no idea this was an Ivan Reitman movie.
Me neither. And it actually made me realize how little I like out of Ivan Reitman's body of work. Like, there's a lot of B kind of schlock movies he did that I like in an ironic sort of way, like Kindergarten Cop.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, his 90s stuff is very hit or miss. In his 90s, he was like, I'm trying to make Schwarzenegger funny. That was his main goal during the 90s.
Yeah. I mean, but also, looking through his record of movies, his IMDb page, I realize he has like 1.5 movies that I like, and I would say that's Ghostbusters and Stripes is the 0.5, and the rest I could do without. Like, it's not. It makes me realize
he did do Evolution though, which is the next film he did after this, and I do enjoy Evolution. It's
better than a lot of his work, but it's still not great. It's something that I like when it comes on HBO.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
totally. It's about how I feel about that movie. So I wouldn't even give it a 0.5 like Stripes. Like, Stripes was trying to do something. It was, for as hit or miss as the entire movie is, it was attempting at art.
It was, but it was mostly the first half was really good, and the second half they didn't know what the fuck to do with it, so they just kind of threw a bunch of shit in, and some of it worked, most of it didn't.
Yeah, and that just gets me back to Ivan Reitman, and it made me realize Ivan Reitman just means Ghostbusters to me. So whenever I say that Ivan Reitman is a good director, I'm essentially saying Ghostbusters was a well-directed movie, and that's about it.
Pretty much, that's about all you can say. I'm actually still a defender of Ghostbusters 2. I know I'm one of the few, but I still like Ghostbusters 2. It's, of course, nowhere near as good as the original, but I still enjoy it. That's
all. I mean, and that his movies are enjoyable, just they're...
I
could do without them, and I would throw Ghostbusters 2 in there too. That I can do without it. I don't need that movie to exist. Ghostbusters, I can't imagine a world where it doesn't exist.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's all I'm saying is that's all Ivan Reitman's really done for being this huge name. I mean,
I'm saying, can you really imagine a world where the movie Junior doesn't exist? I mean, we wouldn't have that "How did this get made?" image. We wouldn't have had, Schwarzenegger and DeVito re-teaming. We would have had to wait all the way until Triplets, which hasn't even been released yet. Could you imagine? Could you imagine the humanity?
Oh man, can you imagine how bad Triplets is gonna be?
I am so excited. I think when it comes out, we should immediately go see it in the theater and then do a podcast on it. Because it will be forgotten.
No, it'll be forgotten before the weekend's over. It's the most excited I've been for an Eddie Murphy movie in a long time. And
meaning like ever? Like when have you ever been excited about an Eddie Murphy movie? His heyday, his good period was when you were a child or not born yet.
I was excited about Bowfinger. Even though I was really young, I really liked that commercial. And that was honestly the last time Eddie Murphy made a good movie that I've seen.
Fair enough, yes. I do really enjoy Bowfinger.
Yeah, Bowfinger was solid. That was a solid movie. Anyway, let's talk about this movie, which is not a solid movie.
I do want to mention the tagline of this movie because it makes me laugh with how corny it is. But the tagline is after this week in paradise, they're gonna need a vacation.
Oh god. Oh god.
Which perfectly suits the movie. That sets up the entire tone of the movie.
The tone of this movie. So I guess we're just getting into it. The opening, and it continues throughout the movie, has the worst fucking soundtrack I've ever heard in a movie. It sounds... The entire music to this movie reminds me of the game Monkey Island, like the placeholder music going on in the background. And, like, it feels directly ripped out of that. But Monkey Island was supposed to be quirky and kind of like... and cartoonish. This movie is very cartoonish. I'm tripping over myself trying to explain how miserable this movie is.
You're just excited about how miserable it makes you.
Oh, and it's not even like... it wasn't miserable like K-Pax is miserable to watch, where I'm just like, please fucking end. It's like watching it and just being like, why would you go with that decision? Like, why are these decisions being made? And who thought they were good ideas?
The funny thing is that, like I said, I have maybe a page of notes. All of it was just plot. What I didn't mention was the fact that all the plot that I wrote down right before it happened in the movie. Like, I was just going ahead and making my notes ahead of time because I knew exactly where it was going. Like, everything was just so predictable and just generic and bad.
Beat for beat. And we talked about in Air Force One how Harrison Ford's charisma could have saved that movie if they had gotten rid of the geopolitics and stuff. No, like, Harrison Ford's charisma doesn't really... I mean, it's there, but it doesn't help this movie at all.
It's the only thing I liked in this movie. It's the only reason I think I was able to make it through unscathed, is that the entire time I was like, I'd still like Harrison Ford. In fact, I have a theory that I like Harrison Ford in everything. And I want to put that to the test. There is a movie he did in the early 2000s I have not seen called Hollywood Homicide. And I think we need to watch it for this and see if I still like him.
Well, yeah, I mean, and he has the best lines of the movie, and it's just kind of because he's Harrison Ford, but it's also this movie.
He's so naturally like charming, but you can tell like he's sleepwalking through this movie. Like he's acting so much better than everyone else in this movie, but he does it so effortlessly. Like you can tell he's not trying. He's not giving it his all. Yeah, and this is also the time right before Harrison Ford just had an extremely bad run with like direct-to-DVD movies. Did he ever do direct-to-DVD, or was it just like Firewall came out in theaters. I saw that in theaters.
No way, why?
I actually liked it.
Harrison Ford essentially did not do another good movie. Well, actually, has he done another good movie since then?
That's a damn good question.
When's
the last time I liked him in something?
That's what I'm trying to think, and it's I'm not coming up with anything. I think
I'm drawing a big blank.
Yeah, huh. Maybe Harrison Ford is like the Ivan Reitman of acting.
Well, Harrison Ford's done a lot
Ford.
of really good roles.
He's done a lot of good roles. That was a joke.
But like I said, most of them are like his early 2000s to mid 2000s work. Like, it was all okay, all passable. But yeah, I can't think of the last time he was in a good movie, like something I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I'd almost say you have to go back to like damn near. I mean, I guess Indiana Jones, if you want to count the sequels. Well, I mean, definitely not the last sequel. But...
Okay, that's what I thought you were going for, because that's the last thing I remember him in.
Yeah, and that was...
okay, no. There was actually a movie I didn't expect to be good, but was. He plays a newscaster. It has Rachel McAdams in it. Something about sunshine or morning sunshine. Morning Glory. Yes. Sorry, I couldn't remember that name. That was actually a pretty decent movie, and he was a lot of fun in that.
Yeah.
That was recently.
Yeah. That one was. That was.
Well, that took about 4 minutes of podcast for us to remember a good Harrison Ford movie.
Yeah, recently. That's not looking good for you, Harrison. If you're out there, shape up.
But, I have to admit, when this movie started, I honestly thought that I was watching the wrong movie, because it starts, like, in winter in New York, and I was just like, is this the wrong Ivan Reitman movie? This just seems like a winter New York romantic comedy movie.
Which it might as well be, except Ivan Reitman felt like taking a vacation, which is the entire premise for this movie, as far as I can tell, and to see Anne Heche's nipples.
Oh my god, they are everywhere.
Everywhere. And they call them out all the time.
I appreciate them.
They're fine. It's just
they're not bad.
But the way that they call them out, like make references to them constantly, is just it makes me feel weird as a movie watcher. Like
a little bit. I love the fact that there's a scene later on in the movie where they literally for no reason get her to go like in a little pond, like into water, just so she can have a wet t-shirt for like a 5-minute scene. It's
so strange. Anyway, we start off in like New York at a magazine.
It's called
Dazzle. And Allison Janney in a very thankless role.
Oh my god,
we're
I feel
introduced
so bad
to
for her.
The weirdest. This is gonna be the start of many jokes that I say verbatim because I don't get them. But we're introduced to Allison Janney saying, "What's wrong with the ad layouts? I'll tell you what's wrong with the ad layouts. They're the wrong ad layouts." I was like, "What? That sounds like a joke." But
I don't think so. I think maybe I'm not sure how much of a script there was for certain parts of this movie. I kind of feel like they're just like, so you're a big, advertising magazine executive, just say business talk, whatever, yell at somebody because they did something wrong, and she just kind of winged it, and that's what came out, and they're like, yeah, good, we got it, check the gate.
That has to be it. But I feel like because the repetition of the word ad, it either is just like they were doing a practice run and Allison Janney didn't realize she was being filmed, or someone thought this was funny at some point in time. I don't get this movie. But anyway, then we go to our next scene. We're introduced to the nadir of fucking 90s-ness, which is David Schwimmer.
Okay, before we get introduced to David Schwimmer, when we kind of get introduced to, we're about to get introduced to him, it's at her work, and he like sends her flowers. And an even more thankless role that has one line, yet she's pretty high build, but Amy Sedaris plays her secretary that just gives her the flowers, and it's like, hey, these are from Frank. That's her part in the movie. I felt so bad, because I saw she was in the cast, and I was like, fuck yeah, Amy Sedaris, I'm excited to see this now. And I had to go back at the end of the movie and be like, where the fuck was Amy Sedaris? And you don't even see her face, really. It's kind of half profile in the back of her head as she says that one line.
I had no idea that was her. I didn't notice her name in the credits.
Yeah. And also something kind of creepy, but like he leaves a doll inside the flowers, and there's a note, and the note says like, bring the doll. And then she's just like, oh, he's always doing this kind of thing. It's like he's always sending you creepy notes telling you to bring a doll.
Like ominous warnings of doll bringing. But was that supposed to be a character thing, that he sends her dolls that she always has to bring to their dates?
Never comes up again.
I know. What the fuck was that? Like, why would you say that line? What is that? What does the doll have to do with anything?
Well, I guess that was like a hint of where he was going to take her, but how is he always doing that kind of a thing? Is he always surprising her with big vacations and leaving her clues to do that?
I thought she was talking about the doll, yeah. But if in case you didn't catch that these are tropical plants and a hula girl doll, Anne Heche is sure to point it out to you in her very next line once they get to dinner. She's like, the tropical plants, the hula doll, what's this all about? And,
David Schwimmer, perpetual 90s nice guy.
When they first meet, they had this... Once again, just this movie confounds me because she says they get to this restaurant where they're about to have dinner, and she's like, and she sounds serious saying this line. I don't think she was kidding, but she's like, "You're not breaking up with me, are you? Because 67% of all relationships end in restaurants." And before getting into the weird percentage thing that comes up later in the movie,
I was like, and 72% of people eat food in restaurants.
No, that's what I was saying. 100% of relationships go to restaurants. So what the fuck is your point? I don't get it.
And again, why would he buy you flowers and leave you like a cute little note with like a clue for something if he's just gonna break up with you? Maybe that's just like, I mean, it doesn't sound like she was joking, but maybe she was, or maybe she's just extremely insecure. Maybe Harrison Ford's gonna have a lot to deal with after the movie ends.
I think it was supposed to be a joke, except they didn't set it up right, because later in the movie, Allison Janney throws out another percentage at her, and she's like, yeah, you know that because you read that in our magazine and we made it up. So I feel like it was supposed to be a joke, but Anne Heche did not know that. Like, no one explained to her that this is a joke.
Do you think maybe that's just Anne Heche's best attempt at comedy? Because thinking about it, she's supposed to have comedic lines and comedic parts in this movie, but every time she was supposed to do something or be a part of something that was funny, it was not. And I just would make a note like, oh, Anne Heche fell down. That's comedy!
But she's also, those times when she's trying to be funny, she's really hammy. Which, I mean, it's not good, but you can tell she's trying. Like this one...
So maybe it's more she just didn't understand that it was supposed to be a joke?
I don't think anyone on set understood that it was supposed to be a joke. Like, no one stopped her and like, oh, Anne, this is supposed to be funny. We need you to say it more sarcastically. Like, because the way she says it, it's almost like a Woody Allen, like, neurotic reaction to being invited to a restaurant.
Well, they did start out in New York. Maybe they started as a different movie, and then they're like, oh, hey, we happen to get Harrison Ford in a tropical location. You want to move this move this out east?
Maybe when Woody Allen was on some very heavy cold medication, he wrote the first 10 pages of what would become the script, and someone found it in a dumpster.
Ivan Reitman's brother was dumpster diving. Happened to come across it.
It's the only explanation. So anyway, we get our titular line where they're
very early on.
Yeah, very early. They're going to spend 6 days, 7 nights on the secluded island of Makataya something. I wrote it out phonetically, and I still don't know it.
Makati.
Anyway, some kind of.
But basically, from this opening scene, they present this like, yeah, they're not gonna make it. They don't have chemistry.
I'm not sure if that's what they're trying to present, because it's...
Well, that's what came off, so I assumed that they were going for that. I was trying to get the movie the benefit of the doubt.
I wonder, like, that makes you wonder, but then, if it was a comedy, they'd play David Schwimmer as this hopeless schmuck. Because that's how you play that character.
By default.
I know, but the movie doesn't seem to take him in that regard. They set up this whole B-plot so that we dislike him by the end, or so that we think we want them to break up.
I don't even. Well, it's so weird how they play it, but even just like the movie posits him as this very successful like guy. He works out all the time. He's supposed to be kind of buff and stuff like that. But David Schwimmer is just he's a fucking schlub. Like
he is. There's no better word for David Schwimmer. Even his name is Schlubby. It's just a horrible fucking name.
David Schlubber.
David Schlubber. And I feel, this you don't need the B plot to this movie. You just need to make David Schwimmer just be like this guy that barely pays attention to his girlfriend, but he's like, I'm going to take you on expensive trips because we're both New York types. Like that's all you need to set up. It does posit them
as like schmarmy kind of rich people in a way, but
yeah, but they seem like they like each other, and they don't have chemistry, but you but both of them are horrible. We don't like either of them anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, exactly.
They can both be horrible together.
Anne Heche anymore because she's the same kind of person that he is. That's why they're together in the first place. But then like she gets a taste of like real life and adventure outside of her comfort zone, and then she immediately like falls in love with the guy that's in the situation with her. And he's just like, oh, he thinks his fiance is fucking dead. And yeah, he sleeps with someone else because he's in a lot of pain and stuff, and because she has big boobs. Whatever. Hey, that's spoilers. Understandable. Hey, everybody knows about old big boobs.
Oh, big boobs. So, this movie also has some really horrible editing for an old hand at this, like Ivan Reitman. So pretty much we go from the line, 6 days, 7 nights on the secluded island of Makatea, cut to a plane flying to an island. Like, that, it was fucking whiplash. And the music is horrible. It's like this, like I said, prototypical, like, Caribbean music you would hear in a video game that would be played to ad nauseum.
I think they just took the music that actually plays in, like, the airport there and just went ahead and put it on the soundtrack.
Like, you know what, that sounds good. Just keep that.
That's what they'd be hearing when they come in anyway, so we might as well keep it.
Then we meet Harrison Ford with his shirt unbuttoned, working on his plane. Yeah, I do like the line he's introduced on, which is miserable piece of rat shit talking to his plane. That was good.
Yeah, no, anytime Harrison Ford got angry in this movie, something about Harrison Ford getting angry is always amusing and fun to watch.
Yeah, no, because he's charismatic. It's the only charisma this movie has.
And he's usually so kind of cool and laid back when he does kind of lose his shit and get really angry. It's just, it's fun. It's fun to watch.
It is. And so him and Anne Heche had this whole thing where she's like, I'm not going to fly in this plane. He's like, well, you can't fly any other way.
Is it supposed to be a meet cute kind of thing? Is that what that's supposed to be? That scene?
Is it? Maybe.
It kind of seems that way.
It kind of feels like it. But it is.
Because he's immediately checking her out, and it seems like she's even checking him out a little bit, even though she's kind of disgusted with him.
A little bit, yeah. But it's also... But there's this weird part where, like, David Schwimmer comes over, he's like, what's the problem? He's like, oh... Or fly, like, and he's like, oh, well, we'll just talk to the pilot. And she's like, well, he's the pilot. And it's while he's, like, taking off his coveralls, so he's kind of hopping around.
And it's stuck on his boot.
Yeah, it's stuck on his boot. But he's still not as schlubby as David Schwimmer just standing there, not doing anything. So,
Harrison Ford is trying to be like that, and David Schwimmer just standing there is outdoing him. He's out schlubbing him every step of the way.
You can't out-schlub the Schwimmer.
That's a motto I'm going to live my life by.
Right. And then there's this line, once again, these jokes that are not, I don't get them, but...
Oh, the bathing suit joke?
No, this this one comes before this, and you would be forgiven for not realizing it's supposed to be a joke. But Harrison Ford, his play is like, we'll leave about 20, 30 minutes, I just gotta go get some oil real quick. And Anne Heche's like, oil? He's gonna go get some oil now? And like, why is that a problem? What are you doing?
I think that's more her kind of being a smarmy rich person that doesn't understand anything about planes. Is like, what, oil? It doesn't already have oil in it? This plane isn't already ready to go and suiting my needs? Like, is that what it's trying to posit her as? Like a bitchy New Yorker?
I didn't get that. I thought they were trying to posit Harrison Ford's plane as being shitty some more. Like,
well, it was definitely positing that, especially like he had a good little kind of transition line where she first talks to him and he's like, yeah, I should be ready to go in about 15, 20 minutes. And then like right after he's about to go get oil, he's like, yeah, it'll be about 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, which could have been a joke if they had played it well. But
I liked it. Like, it was kind of a smaller moment.
It was subtle, but once again, I don't think anyone on set realized that was supposed to be a joke, except maybe Harrison Ford.
I think Harrison Ford is the only one that like knew how to work with this material, because he comes out best in this, and he actually has good lines, and like he is the only place where comedy comes from in this movie.
And once again, it's all based on his charisma more than anything, because it's not like Harrison Ford's an inherently funny actor, but he has his good moments. But like, he's not a comedian by any means. He just he
just tosses out that half smile and says something, kind of charming, and there you go.
Yeah,
I melt.
It works. And then Schwimmer and Heche get in the airplane, and then we're introduced to
big boobs,
which is just, it's the dumbest fucking introduction scene. She
I honestly didn't know this character's name until the end of the movie. Like, towards the very end, when they shouted at some point in time, I had no idea what her name was, and she was just big boobs to me.
I didn't know she had a name.
It's Angelica.
Yeah, I see that on IMDb. I wasn't sure if the movie ever got around to making that clear.
It does in, like, the last third, I think. Oh.
Excuse me. I know. But we're introduced to her where she has trouble navigating 3 feet of space and accidentally sits on David Schwimmer's cock, which makes him all giddy like a little schoolboy.
Well, I think she's the real mastermind of this movie. I think she planned everything out. She sent them away. I think when she got into the plane, she accidentally fell on him trying to get a vibe for what his dick is like, and she liked what she saw, so she sabotaged the plane when they were leaving so she could get that schlubby dick.
That's a more interesting theory or plot than this movie.
You have no idea how deep my 6 Days, 7 Nights fan fiction goes.
It's an extensive library.
Yeah.
And this girl is also a very poor Selma Hayek stand-in, I must say. Like, she's playing the Selma Hayek role, but not very well. She doesn't have Selma Hayek's charisma. Everyone in this movie...
Or her funny voice.
She's trying to get her funny voice.
But Selma Hayek just does it to the T.
Yeah, she does. Well, that's just her voice.
No. She's been faking it all along.
This girl just has, like, you can tell it's kind of a put on, it feels like, and it's like fucking Valley Girl.
I have a feeling she's from Brooklyn or something. Well, I guess, like, in the plane, they posit, like, the plane's a piece of shit, but they actually make it there, and just fine, no problems. And at first I was like, oh, okay, well, they're fine. Their vacation goes fine, there's no problems. End of movie. Good.
Yeah.
Well, let's call it a day, guys.
Yeah. And, yeah, so we go through the whole marriage proposal. Still no connection between them. But
although in this scene, during the whole music scene where we run back into Harrison Ford, we do meet the best character in the movie, which is Tropical Blues Man.
He was awesome. I really liked that song.
Yeah, I did, but it was like he was doing straight up blues, but with a tropical vibe. I really dug that.
It was, yeah, I'd never heard it before. I really dug that. But then we immediately go back to probably the Harrison Ford's worst moment in this movie, which is full of dull moments. But
I actually kind of liked his drunken buffoonery, his drunken creeper.
It was like this weird caricature, like somewhere between Humphrey Bogart and a proto version of Jack Sparrow, is what I got from it. It was.
Tell me if you got this. Drunk Harrison Ford kind of reminds me of my dad. Huh. And I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not. I'm gonna say yes, though, because being compared to Harrison Ford on any level is a compliment.
I would think so. But then there's more of these non-jokes where Harrison Ford, he's just drunk and he's like, I can't remember what they're talking about. He's like, never bite the hand that feeds your mouth,
feed your
or
mouth.
Whatever. Like, that's not.
See, it was mostly the lines were definitely horrible, but I really enjoyed just his physical comedy in this, like his kind of dancing and stumbling around, like just his mannerisms in it. I thought were actually pretty good.
I thought it was a little over the top. That's where the Jack Sparrow comparison comes in. It's like, I know Harrison Ford has to be a drinker to some degree, I'm pretty sure. But
oh yeah, he seemed kind of natural in that state.
No, I thought he seemed completely unnatural. He seemed like he was way overplaying the drunk.
You've obviously never seen Harrison Ford drunk.
I haven't, no. And then there's this other, David Schwimmer comes back over and he takes Anne Heche away, or she takes them away, and he's like, was he hitting on you? It looked like he was just hitting on you. You want me to beat him up? I don't go to the gym every day just to watch old guys shower. And then he says that makes me think that he does. that is.
Yeah. So you call me a fag? That? You call me a fag? I don't look at those old guys' dicks. I'll kick everyone's ass.
I don't look at old guys in the shower at the gym. What? Like,
you want some schlub?
Like, that joke once again doesn't work, except on the level that he secretly does go to the gym every day just to watch old guys shower. That could have been a callback scene. It would have been amazing.
I think like that's the main thing with David Schwimmer in this movie. Like, I understand it's the 90s, David Schwimmer was in things. I don't know why, but just kind of thinking about how weird his character is, like, everything that happens, I just think there's some weird dark background to it. Like, the whole doll thing was really weird, the whole gem thing was weird, even, like, his whole turn in the third act is just so weird. I like to think that he is just a really dark, creepy character and, like, kills bunnies in his basement or something. Like, that's what's going on behind the eyes of this character.
That better explanation than whatever this movie is positing. Like, so we get to the next morning because I want to nail all these horrible jokes. I want to take this movie to task for having the worst fucking jokes I've ever heard. In the morning, they're on the beach and she's like, "It looks like you're getting a little burned." They're like sunbathing, whatever, and he's like, "Oh, you do that for me? You'd cream me up?" That's the joke.
Yeah, you cream me.
That's
comedy.
There's something inherently funny about the word cream that just injecting it in a sentence.
I think cream is funny. A sexy word more than a funny word.
It's you could make a it's like they're trying to make a cum joke without getting anywhere close to a cum joke. Like they want to be crass,
and it's PG-13. They could get away with a cum joke.
They could have alluded to it much better. Like I feel like that's what they're trying. I feel like this movie's trying to be crass without pushing it.
It's trying to be as broadly crass as possible.
Yeah, which isn't funny.
Because even though it's a PG-13, it doesn't even use like it's one given fuck. It does a muffled fuck. That's it. And it replaces it with a finger.
Yeah, because once again, comedy. Anyway, so Anne Heche is called to where she has to fly to Tahiti to do something for the magazine no one else can do. She just happens to be close enough.
Which it seems like she's like an editor or like a PR person. Like, what the fuck can she do at a photo shoot?
I don't even know. I don't think her job is ever defined. I think she's just... Or maybe she was an editor or something.
Maybe she seemed kind of like the second in command to Allison Janney's character. Like, maybe she's like the VP or like the head editor or something. Like, she definitely wouldn't be that hands-on, I would think. And what the fuck would she be needed for at a photo shoot? They take the pictures, they send you the pictures, you approve them, you don't approve them.
Yeah, to babysit is what they said. Why? What do you mean?
Anyways,
that's what's happening. It doesn't matter. It's contrivance to get her back in the plane with Harrison Ford. And to leave David Schwimmer with big boobs for some reason, because we need this B plot, because we can't stay with the fucking island adventure this movie is based on, because that would be too fun. You'd have to make set pieces and have things happen.
Well, yeah, that budget would go way above $70 million if they actually had to do more than 3 action set pieces on that island. We need to cut back to the schlub and the big boobs every once in a while to give this movie a breather, give the budget a breather. David Schwimmer, he comes cheap. He's the cheapest part of the movie. Let's put him in as much as possible.
Yeah. So, we watch their flight, where the strangest thing... So, their flight, they start off, and it's essentially cut between them flying and getting into a storm, mixed with David Schwimmer watching Harrison Ford's girlfriend thing dance.
David Schwimmer fucking the shit out of big boobs as she dances.
Oh yes. That's what I'm saying. Is that he's watching her dance. He looks all but like he's masturbating under the table.
He is poised to rape. It looks like
it is insane, and this is all intercut with them flying through a storm. But as far as we can tell, this all happens during one song. And during this song that this girl is dancing to and David Schwimmer is fucking her during, Anne Heche, they're getting in a storm. Harrison Ford's like, okay, we need to turn around, it's too dangerous. But they happen to be in the middle of the squall by the time he decides that. Don't know why. She starts taking Xanax to calm her nerves.
Like a minute and a half later.
A minute and a half later, in the course of a song, she is already completely fucked up to the point of not understanding what is happening. And
yeah, that was confusing as shit to me. But I guess it's like, that's comedy. And Heche can't talk right, and she's fumbling around.
But it's just, like, suspension of disbelief and all aside, just...
I think that was the hardest part for me to buy in this movie, was that, like, I see her take the pills, you cut away to Schwimmer and Big Boobs real quick, and then you cut back, like, less than a minute later, and now she's completely fucked up on Xanax. That made no sense to me.
There was one thing I really liked about the scene, and I don't think it was intentional, but where she's taking Xanax, he's like, what are those? Like, Xanax, they're to calm my nerves. He's like, he just said there's like, hey, give me one. And I liked it better, not that he was nervous, but that he's just an alcoholic druggie. And that's
what
why
I thought too at first. I thought he was like, oh, I'm also stressed out, I could use one. But the look in his eyes, he was just like, hey, I want to get fucked up.
Yeah, hey, if you're passing around pills.
I mean, but chances are we're going to die. I might as well get fucked up.
Yeah. So I thought that was funny, but I don't think it was even intentional. That's this movie in a nutshell.
Unintentional comedy.
And not even really that. That's not even this movie in a nutshell. This movie is just
unintentional.
Unintentional. Like, no one really cared about this. I think everyone just wanted to go on a vacation. I think that's essentially what this movie is. Like, let's go to an island just for an excuse. We'll film something. I want to get paid to hang out on an island. And then once again, so Anne Heche,
you're exhausting yourself with this.
No, this movie. Anne Heche's joke while she's fucked up on Xanax is he's trying to give his coordinates on the radio and all, like, Mayday, Mayday. She, in her fucked up state, apparently, is just like, she grabs the microphone, which doesn't make sense because it doesn't echo or anything, but she's like, attention Kmart shoppers, snow shovels are on sale for $12.99. Like, what is this joke?
I seriously think that's Anne Heche's best attempt at comedy.
But why would Ivan Reitman, the man who gave us Ghostbusters, allow that line? Like,
well, he didn't write the script.
But
I understand he shouldn't have allowed it, but the guy that wrote this movie, his name's Michael Browning. The only other writing credit to his name that I saw was the Chris Rock movie Bad Company.
I don't remember that movie at all.
It would be perfect for this podcast. Basically, it also stars Anthony Hopkins, and Chris Rock plays like a suave, like, CIA guy, an agent, who gets killed and then needs to be replaced by his dim-witted, long-lost twin brother, played by regular Chris Rock, for a final mission that he needs to be on.
Oh, man. That sounds awesome. We totally need to watch that.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we get to Anne Heche's physical comedy, which is tripping out of a plane.
Anne Heche fall down, go boom. Comedy.
What's a movie without a good old-fashioned pratfall? Yeah.
Yep.
And this is all my notes, is just reading these jokes verbatim, because I don't...
You don't even have a commentary to it.
There's no they're self-explanatory.
Come on, let's work through them.
So Anne Heche, she's freaking out. She's like, you know what to do in these situations, right? You know what you're doing. He's like, what are you talking about? She's like, you know, those guys. You're one of those guys. You send them into the woods with a pocket knife and a Q-tip, and they build you a shopping mall. Don't get where the joke is in that. I get where it could have been a joke.
I get where
did
the
it
joke
stick
came
the landing?
From. It just,
yeah.
I had no idea where it was going.
It ended 10 miles away in the middle of the desert from the joke where it started. It doesn't.
To be honest, I couldn't even concentrate on the movie the rest of the time. I was just trying to make a connection between Q-tip and shopping mall.
Pocket knife, Q-tip equals shopping mall. There's somewhere in this equation that was a joke.
I have 10 pages of notes trying to work out that equation.
but not even that. The next line from Harrison Ford even is, no, I can't do that, but I can do this. I can't even do it. He does that finger mouth pop thing. Yeah, that. And he says, does that help? Like, what are these goddamn jokes? What are these? Who thinks these are jokes?
Again, that's why I'm wondering, like, there are certain times it does seem scripted, but a lot of times like this, it just seems like they had a vague outline and they were just going, because again, like the finger pop thing, there's no way that was in the script where he was like, oh, but I can do this, and he finger pops. Like, that had to have been like, oh, but I can do this, does weird little physical bit. And then Ivan Reitman's like, you got this, Harrison? He's like, yeah, I got this, whatever. Boop.
Yeah, and no, I totally agree, because the next thing is they get in an argument where he's like, well, what's there's a good news and bad news, or I'll sugarcoat or not. Anyway, he tells her all this stuff, and she's like, is it too late to go back for the good version? He's like, that was the good version. She's like, well, what's the bad news? And his line is, the bad news is that we may be here for a long, long, long time. You and me. As if they have this inherent antagonism with each other, which I get the movie has been positing, but it doesn't appear.
But it doesn't convey
ever.
it at all.
No, it does not convey that they have an antagonism until it just literally tells us we don't like each other.
Yeah, that's what the movie was going for, and I think it would have played a lot better had that happened. Like, if they had really, like, just disliked each other. But even from the first time they met, they were kind of, like, both checking each other out, both kind of smiling and stuff. There was never any meanness between each other. Like, they were pretty okay with each other. So, like, why does it matter that they're stuck there together?
I don't know. And then,
see, maybe that was like part of the darker aspect of Harrison Ford's character there. Maybe he was like dragging out that long time. Meaning basically like, I'm all you have to fuck from now on. And it's gonna happen.
But she doesn't get that he's being creepy.
Wait till you fall asleep. Bring the doll.
But she doesn't get that he's being creepy because she dates David Schwimmer. And he is just a walking schlub of creepiness.
Anything is a step up from David Schwimmer.
Well, it's not David Schwimmer. Speaking of, from this line, we take a hard cut to David Schwimmer eating a buttered roll like a fucking lunatic.
That was my favorite David Schwimmer scene in the entire movie.
He is eating it like he has not eaten in days. It is the weirdest thing.
Like he is trying to show Big Boobs how well he can fucking go down on a roll. Like, I don't know. It seems like he's trying to like show like how sexy he can be or show his sexual prowess, but I don't know, there's nothing sexy about eating a buttered roll. It just looks really disgusting, and like he's just trying to fillet bread. Like,
we have the Schlubby Schwimmer just going down bread on a butter roll. Fucking this movie. And then we go back to the island where we get, and this is, I don't know, this seems endemic of 90s movies. Like, this movie gets into weird 90s, like late 90s gender politics before it was not okay to kind of denigrate women. It wasn't like an understood.
Ford had like a line where he just like said every kind of uncomfortably sexist thing he could, describing why she's not his type.
Yeah, which he ends with, your ass is too narrow and your tits are too small. And
that's the only part that bothers her, was that he commented on her tits being too small, not the fact that he said that she's opinionated, which is a no-no in Harrison Ford's world.
you have opinions, and I don't enjoy that. And
you see, I thought it was going a different direction. He's like, you're opinionated, you're stubborn. I thought like he was going to end that with, you're too much like me, which would have been okay. But he just says this because like women aren't supposed to be these things, and it's like, oh yeah, and your tits and ass aren't up to par either.
Yeah, and it's strange. And it's
even worse because then she follows him and is like, wait, what's wrong with my tits?
Yeah, and then it just becomes this thing of the movie, and this all starts because Harrison Ford, she's like, you're ogling me from behind, and he's like, well, when you go to the store, do you ask for this outfit so that people won't look? And
it's like, come on, you wear something like that, you know I'm gonna rape you.
But she's not wearing an overly sexual outfit. It's like a wife beater and a skirt, like a very modestly linked skirt.
It's like a island vacation skirt kind of thing. It doesn't like it's not showing off her ass. She's not wearing a bikini. Like,
no, what is this? What is this? What are they talking about? Like, I don't. It's like no one understood that cinema was a visual medium, and we can see that she is not wearing a scantily clad outfit. It's like it was in the script, and then they just forgot to do it that day, and they're like, fuck it, we don't want to rewrite anything. Just go.
Just go. Wing it. Whatever.
Like, I think she was supposed to be wearing a bikini or something, but she wasn't. So the joke doesn't make any sense. I mean, her nipples are poking through, but that's true for 90% of the movie.
Yeah, Anne Heche nipples for the win, as far as I'm concerned. They carry this movie.
I felt objectified for her by the end because they have.
I objectified myself a lot during this movie.
So we're getting as crass as this movie are now.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
how that's
Well,
where we
broadly
sunk?
crass. I'm not going to say any of those dirty words, but I'll get it to where the general populace can understand what I'm saying. I'm not going to make it too subtle, but I'm not going to make it too blue either. So then we get to Snake in the Pants.
And then it's followed by an even weirder scene where she's like, I hate to bother you, but if you would kindly help, some creature has just swum up my pants. She's wearing a skirt.
Snake in my pants.
But she's wearing a skirt, God damn it.
Yeah.
She's not even wearing pants, so the snake, it doesn't make any sense. And I thought the joke was going to be that it's just like seaweed, even though they're not at the sea anymore, something like that.
Oh, see, your problem is you thought they were going to go for a joke.
Yeah, no. They went where Harrison Ford literally sticks his hand down her pants and pulls out a snake.
Yeah,
From
and
her
also
pants,
like
which are a
very
skirt.
creepily half smiling while he does so.
Well, Anne Heche also, like, kind of leaning on his head in an almost sexual way. Like, it's...
But she's still like, better not see you smiling, as he's doing his half smile thing.
It's so fucking
And
strange.
also, okay, so after this happens and he flings it out, she kind of thanks him or whatever. Tell me if I'm wrong, but was there a moment after he like threw the snake out and pulled his hand out of there? Did he sniff his fingers real quick? It looked like he fucking sniffed his fingers.
Yeah, that may have been Harrison Ford's attempt at injecting humor into the movie. I think I missed it.
But I think this whole thing is just like anything to get Anne Heche in a wet T-shirt. I guess that's what they're going for.
Oh man.
Then they eat peacocks together.
Which, okay, so
Which
Harrison
they don't
Ford,
even show like a scene of him trying to hunt a peacock, which could have been funny because it would have been
No.
difficult and he probably wouldn't have done it very well.
No, that would have made this. It would have given this movie some charisma, but
That would have been more
takes-
like a Castaway kind of thing.
But you see, that takes effort, and that takes patience to film instead of just going through quickly and getting a paycheck, which is what everybody was doing. I can only imagine.
Ivan Reitman ain't no Robert Zemeckis. I'll give you that. Take from that statement what you will.
But so Harrison Ford, he goes to hunt peacocks in this crazy camouflage thing he's made, which doesn't make sense because he's on a beach, camouflaged as a bush. Passing beyond that, and Heche
Well, yeah,
is
because
like,
it just cuts after this thing. It just cuts away from it. Like we don't see him use the camouflage he did. We don't see him hunt the things. It just he's in this funny thing. They try to get a cheap laugh out of it, which does not work. And then they immediately cut to them cooking the peacocks that they apparently caught.
well, first there's Anne Heche being like, "Don't kill them, they're majestic," talking about the peacocks, and then the next scene is Harrison Ford cooking the peacock, and she's like, "Oh, that smells good," and she's like, "Well, maybe I should have some." He's like, "Oh, you won't regret it." She's like, just in case if somebody ever asks me if I've ever had peacock, I can say that I did. Once again, that's a joke. That is supposed to be a joke.
Do you think that was like her subtly asking Harrison Ford to pee in her mouth?
Oh, the movie would have been so much better if it was.
I just really
they
want to
also-
like redo this movie in like a very like X-rated, like deep dark. Like I just want murder and like fucked up sexual acts all over the place.
This is a lot like Addicted to Love, in that there is a lot creepier undertone to this movie that is not being addressed.
Yeah.
Even though Addicted to Love did it much worse. Like it was that
Or
movie was
better, depending on how you look at it.
I would say I definitely enjoyed Addicted to Love much
Yeah.
more.
Oh
than I
yeah. Well,
enjoyed
they
this
embrace
movie.
the darkness of it a lot more, and
And then next, we have them climbing up a mountain, which at first we do not know why they're doing this. And what happens is they step on this place, and it's apparently like cragged, and the ground falls out beneath them. They go down this weird slide looking thing, come out the other end. Anne Heche has a scorpion in her hair that Harrison Ford flings off like the snake in her pants.
and then she swoons.
No, and then that's just it.
No, like
That's
there's a
for the
moment like
entire
after he swipes the scorpion. Yeah, which by the way, they fall like down into the mountain, yet somehow just come out perfectly on the other end. But when he swats that scorpion out of her hair, she gives him a look like, "Oh my god, that was so brave and courageous. No one's ever done anything like that for me before." That's the look she gives him.
Well, no, yeah, but I'm still saying this. There's this whole set piece that doesn't make any sense. and then they move on from it as if nothing happened. It's not recalled. It doesn't
That's
progress
true.
the plot.
It doesn't even seem like it sets them back very much, because the next scene is like them getting to the top of the mountain they were climbing to begin with.
The next scene is them ADRing why they are climbing to the top of the mountain, because they forgot to tell us why when they started this trek. That was my favorite part. It's just like a long shot of them going up the mountain with 80-yard lines of why they're doing this.
I think we're on this island, and there should be a beacon on top of this mountain that we can set off, and then people will come rescue us when they try to fix it.
You know what they forgot to explain, though? That they had maps, that they even had a guess as to what island they could be on.
Had a map, because obviously he's going to have some kind of a map in his plane.
Even
when they first wreck, like when it first cuts to him, he's sitting outside drinking, but he's looking at a map.
Oh yeah, that's true. But they still don't explain why they're doing this till they're halfway through doing it, and only through ADR.
They basically don't explain it until right before we find out that it's not going to work.
Yeah. And then we get to the top of the mountain where Harrison Ford is like, oh, this isn't the island I thought it was. And the strangest fucking scene where he's like, give me a second. And there's this pile of like bushes.
He goes to yell at trees.
He goes to yell at trees in a blatant like Christmas Story ripoff of The Father, where he's just like, frag 'em, yag 'em, rag 'em, joy 'em, yag 'em. He does that while like stomping around the bushes. And for one, if you're on a wild island that you don't know where shit is, and like you've already seen scorpions and snakes, don't go stomping around in a fucking bush. That is very dangerous.
That was the first thing I thought. It's like, you're on a mountain right there. This is just this lush greenery right here. Like there are going to be dangerous creatures living in that, and you're punching up their homes.
That's the point where I was like, this movie is a cartoon. It doesn't know it's a cartoon. Like it doesn't, because this movie could have played it more cartoonish, and I would have accepted it more. But it's like they're trying to write this middle, and then they just... I think that's... once again, I don't think there was... I think you're right. There wasn't a script, and that was Harrison Ford like, hey, I bet this will be funny. And it's not, but they don't have anything else. So
see, the thing is, though, like... I mean, obviously they were going for PG-13. I don't know how much they knew about that at the time. Like, do you think he really went into the bush and, like, mumbled, like... blurry kind of expletives, or do you think he actually went in there and just like screamed or like actually said fuck a bunch of times and then had to go back in ADR the
You know what? I bet this was an R rating at first. I bet Big Boobs showed her boobs.
Yeah, because
I bet there was a lot more cursing.
They do a cut to where like if you freeze frame it, you might see a glimpse. It's
close. Yeah, they cut it close. And so yeah, I could see that they went more. They were going for more of a raunchy kind of rom-com action thing. It would have been
a lot better had they done that.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have been.
Maybe,
maybe I don't know. It would have given.
It's still pretty bad.
It would have given the film a little bit of life, a little bit of edge. Like they would have seemed more awake than just kind of very generic PG-13 romantic comedy done just as well as all those other ones, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. It's mediocre.
See, and that's a weird thing, because right after this, there's this part where essentially Harrison Ford says, I'm all right now. Then a really shitty cut to the next scene where you just like, it feels like something went wrong with the film. And you're just like, why are we here now? It's a really weird cut. I couldn't explain it. And this movie is kind of filled with those moments. And I'm not sure if that's just it being taken away from Ivan Reitman. Like, let's cut this down to a PG-13, and Ivan Reitman's like, I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care about this movie.
Yeah, it is kind of an odd length, because it is like right over 100 minutes. So like, it's not, a brisk 90-minute rom-com. It seems like it could have been more like a 2-hour R-rated kind of action romantic comedy movie. Like, there could have been more action and like violence and stuff too, with the pirates that gets cut out. I don't know.
Yeah, because the pirates are so cursory.
Yeah, they're there and gone in like 15 minutes of screen time.
Yeah, and really, because like I said, what I remembered about this movie was the survival aspects. Going back to it, the survival aspects are passed by so quickly that they're toothless. It doesn't ever feel... Nothing ever feels like there's any weight to it. Like, you never feel in danger in this movie,
It's literally maybe like 15 minutes from the time we first see the pirates to the time they do everything they do and get off the island.
Yeah, and it's really fast. And also, like I said, the survival parts, the only time they ever eat in this movie, for what I can only imagine, they are on this island for at least a week, I would think.
Well, It's at least like 3 days, I would think.
Just for what they do later in the movie, I mean, I understand movie time, but that would take a lot longer than whatever they're allotting it takes.
That's true. I think they show about 3 days, but then again, they also end up calling off the search for them, so I would assume that would take more than just a day or two.
That's what I'm saying. You don't call off a search after 2 days.
Yeah,
like,
good point.
So, it's this movie. You have no idea how long any of this is taking. None of it seems to matter to anyone. No one cared about this movie in the end, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're at about an hour. Can we get to the pirates?
Oh, fucking fine. So Danny Trejo's in this movie. That's cool.
Kind of. I mean, he's in this movie about as much as Amy Sedaris is in this movie, except she actually gets a line.
Yeah, this is before Danny Trejo was actually a namesake. So they see a boat. They go to swim out towards it in their life raft. Once they get close, they happen to witness a murder on this pirate boat.
Well, it was I think they saw one boat initially, and that's what they were going towards. Then there was a second boat, which was the pirate boat that came and took over the initial boat.
And when the pirates see Harrison Ford and Anne Heche, they say, "We've got company," because that's good. Moving on, back to David Schwimmer, because that's what we were all wondering about. He has apparently already given up hope on finding them. By the way, them going and looking for Harrison Ford and Anne Heche, they do it in a helicopter. You cannot get halfway to Tahiti, which they ostensibly were, with a helicopter. And they would have known that they probably went down in that storm, which would have been about the halfway point to Tahiti.
And it seemed like they just kind of looked over the water right outside of the island or something. Like, don't you think maybe you'd go fly over the islands right in that vicinity? Like, along
you'd
the
go
way?
fly. You'd go to where they were actually flying, not take a helicopter, which can't go that far out, I would imagine, because of fuel reasons. Like, why make that search in a helicopter? You knew they were in a plane. What is this?
I don't know. I guess helicopters are more for like rescuing.
Yeah. Anyway, so they've been gone for like 2 days, and they call off the search. Like we said,
2 days to a week to a month. I don't know.
Who cares?
Movie time.
But yeah, it's within those 6 days, 7 nights, because David Schwimmer's still on the island.
Oh, good point. You're wrangling it in together.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe by the end of it, they've been there for 6 days, 7 nights.
No, that's what I. Oh,
do they leave early when she gets back? Do they leave early from their vacation?
No, they leave. Oh, what is this movie? What is it?
I would say if you call it 6 days, 7 nights, that is the amount of time that should take place during the movie.
That is, you assume that's how long they're going to be on the island, because that's like watching the trailer. I assume, they're going to be stuck at this island for 6 days, 7 nights, and what a ballsy move to tell the audience exactly how long they'll be there. But that's not what they do. The title alludes to that they're going to be
how long their vacation was going to be.
Yeah. And so they get back
stupid.
Ostensibly on the last day. So yeah, they've had 3-4 days being gone. David Schwimmer gets drunk, gives up on his girlfriend, sleeps with big boobs.
Like you do.
Yeah, and so the pirates are chasing Ford and Heche, and I hate this movie. I hate this movie so much.
Yeah, it's really once we're getting into this part, I'm really running out of shit to talk about.
And there's just the conflicting romantic subplots. Like, it's just no one cared. No one's funny. I will say there's one joke that is a seriously well done joke. I loved it. It's well, first we had this horrible joke. So as Schwimmer wakes up in Big Boob's room, and they've obviously had sex, his first line is, "What did I do and how many times did I do it?" Horrible fucking line.
Which, by the way, just before you finish that, why did they even bother going with the whole like psych out, like, oh, he's in there, it's gonna happen, but then he leaves, but then it cuts back and he did come back? Like, why?
I don't know. I don't get it. Like I said, what is this movie doing? It's confounding.
Anyway, where's the good joke?
It comes right after that, where the girl's talking. It's like, oh, you were just upset. It's okay. Worried about. And she's like, it's like after a funeral, everybody has sex, and then there's a beat, and David Schwimmer's like, well, not everybody. And she's like, no, And it just cuts. And I was like, oh my god, that fucking worked. That was a great joke.
I agree. That actually was probably the only good joke in the movie.
It was well constructed. It had a punchline.
It was her naivety that was just like, oh, like after a funeral, everyone has sex.
Yeah, no, but David Schwimmer, he gets above his schlubiness and he waits a beat. He waits the appropriate beat before saying, well, not everybody.
And do you think that's part of David Schwimmer's dark side as well? Like he's saying not everybody, like the corpse? or just like, no, that's not something people normally do. I think it's like, well, not everybody. Unless I'm at the funeral. Bring the doll.
Don't forget to bring the doll.
I would have loved it if, like, when he woke up in the bed the next day, like, he had the hula doll.
It's like, you didn't forget my doll, did you? Oh, thank God. Just starts caressing it. Like, oh, Anne.
That's his stone. Like, that's what's keeping him sane together. He just rubs it.
Yeah. And then
they build a seaplane out of an old Japanese World War II plane they found in a tree.
Well, first we get the action scene of them getting the seaplane buoys to their plane by taking them down a river, where this one part where it gets kind of choppy and Harrison Ford has to take it down himself. And it's filmed horribly. There's this really bad cut where you can see it's obviously Harrison Ford's stunt double. And anyway, it goes through all this where he has all this trouble getting it down. Anne Heche is up at the top with the other one. And Harrison Ford is like, finally gets up and he's all roughed up and stuff. He's like, okay, your turn. Cut back to Schwimmer.
Yeah.
Like as if that's a joke.
Yeah, I think that was trying to be a joke. But again, like, how do you explain that? Like, you barely made it down there. And then you just cut away while she has to do this now, too? Like, you can't even show that to see if she goes through something? See if maybe she is part of the action? She's contributing? No, we don't see it.
Yeah, the movie doesn't want to stay with the plot that is central to the goddamn movie. It keeps coming back to fucking Schwimmer. And it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
Well, do you think that has to do with, like, they were trying to get it down to a PG-13? Or do you think, like, when they're on the island with Ford and Heche, like, maybe things were just going bad, the shoot was going bad, maybe they didn't get everything they needed, so they kept having to just cut back and use more and more of Schwimmer every time, like, they had these little, like, vignettes of, like, little action pieces or whatever, or little dialogue pieces, and that's all they had, and they couldn't connect them right, so they had to keep cutting back to Schwimmer every time?
I would hope. Like, I would hope that's the explanation for...
I hope that wasn't the plan the whole time.
No, I hope this movie, if this movie went off without a hitch, and if Ivan Reitman's like, I made my masterpiece, like, and so then in between this, we go back to Schwimmer, where he's talking to Big Boobs, and and she's like, stop beating yourself up, you're a guy, you can't help it, like, oh, fucking, these gender politics, they're offensive. Like, I mean, it's just...
Hey,
I know it's the 90s.
1998, man. Whatever. We put women in their place. We call the gays fags. That's what we do.
That's what we do, man.
We're the hip 90s, man. Why do you think people are so nostalgic for us? We told it like it was.
Yeah. That was real. That's when shit got real. And then we have the scene of them rebuilding the plane, which apparently takes an afternoon.
And it's not even really, like, it's not even a proper montage. Like, they kind of montage it, but there's no, like, montage music or, like, a song. It's just kind of, like, a bunch of quick cuts of them doing shit.
Yeah.
It makes it seem like it's shoddily put together.
Yeah, as if no one cared about this fucking movie. There's this one weird scene where they're cutting down bamboo, and, like, Harrison Ford's
Where'd
doing
they get a saw?
I don't know. And like Harrison Ford's doing it kind of slow, and then Anne Heche is doing it fast. I guess that's what's supposed to be happening. And then he just gives her like a sly smile, and she's like, "Yeah, I can keep up. What's up?" Like, it's strange. What is going on?
More in line with like what the movie's been saying and positing, though, it would have been funny if like she was all like, "Yeah, I beat you," and then it like cuts down, and Harrison Ford is cutting like a huge piece of bamboo, and she's cutting like a twig. Like that would have been comedy.
That could have been a joke. I will point out that they have also been making out and like cuddling with each other this whole time. Like they've gotten close since all this happened, which we didn't mention before since the whole pirate thing. Like, after they get chased by pirates and they have to jump off a cliff.
They just fucking go at it in the sand.
They go at it.
It's like the opening of Grease. It's crazy.
Oh, it is. Fucking summer loving, man. And then we have... So, they rebuild their plane right in time for the pirates to show up and start shooting mortars at them. Harrison Ford gets injured, but he still manages to take off.
Yeah, he gets hit a little bit.
A little bit. And the pirates accidentally shoot a mortar straight up in the air, which comes back down on the
fucking stupid pirates, man. Like, seriously? I understand you're trying to shoot the plane, but you're gonna shoot one straight up in the air.
I doubt
you obviously know how to work this artillery. Like, would you not fucking understand that?
I cannot imagine that they would build a mortar gun that could possibly shoot up straight in the air. I can't imagine that's a thing.
Yeah, I can't imagine that it would lock that way. Because it seems like it would only swing around and you could only raise it up so high. Why? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous, and it's supposed to be funny again, but it's not, because we barely met these pirates. They don't feel threatening.
Yeah, like, honestly, it's just the main pirate, I think, the main pirate's the only one that has any lines. We see, like, Danny Trejo in Profile a couple of times. There's the other pirate that's with him. I forget his name, but I've seen him in, like, a million things as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so that's how they escape. Harrison Ford's like, I may be unconscious, so you may have to land the plane. We go back to the island where Schwimmer and Big Boobs are doing the funeral. And just more Schwimmer being schlubby and horrible.
Getting down on his knees like, oh, God, forgive me.
It's like, Father, forgive me, for I have sinned. And then the plane comes.
He is just oozing schlub.
Just so much slub. And so the plane gets back. Anne Heche lands it very shittily, but they survive. They all get out. Now Harrison Ford can be conscious again for some reason. And they all get out of the plane.
Well, that's the thing. Like, he's unconscious. They land. They even, like, kind of crash land and stuff. They hit their head and stuff. He doesn't wake up. All that happens, she, like, kind of taps him on the shoulder. She's like, hey, wake up. And he's like, oh, we here?
Oh, we're here now? Yeah.
Sorry, I just closed my eyes for a second.
And that's all fine and good. It feels like the movie's about to be over, because you're like, okay, they made it back. That's the end. That's the story arc. Nope. We still have to fix up all this other subplot still, like, they've 10, been injecting.
A movie.
Oh my God, it's Schwimmer kind of half confessing. I didn't realize he didn't confess, because I thought that's what they were positing happened.
I didn't either. Yeah, apparently. Yeah. See, that's the thing. He could have done it right there. Guess what? End of Schwimmer. You could have moved on, continued your love story. But no, they have to come back to it, and then he has to actually confess. And, like, kind of, I don't know, I guess make Heche vindicated and being in love with Ford? I don't know.
That's all I could imagine. Like, so Schwimmer does this whole confession thing. They cut, so you think he'd actually confess, but it cuts to Heche going to visit Harrison Ford in this...
In, like, an army hospital.
Like a bungalow hospital. And everything in this movie looks like a set. Nothing looks natural. It's... The set... it's horrible.
Even
that's
the
a whole other story. Oh, the island looks fucking horrible. And Anne Heche comes up, and their conversation is, what's the deal here? Deal? With us. Like, they're in fucking middle school. Like, these aren't two grown adults.
Are we in love? Aren't we? Who cares?
And then Harrison Ford, as I cannot even begin to wrap my head around this one, because he's explaining why they can't be together, and this has to be ad-lib because it doesn't make any sense in context. He says, you're not going to move out here to be my co-pilot, and I'm not going to move to New York to be a receptionist, because we all know that everyone in relationships have to work for each other. That's the only way a relationship works, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I think he was kind of being more vague, or maybe that was just more of that gender politics. He was like, I'm not going to take a fucking lady's job. Okay, I'm not going to be your fucking secretary. You're not going to wear the pants in this family.
But, I mean, that's just such a weird reason to give. Like, you're not going to work for me. I'm not going to work for you. This relationship isn't going to work. Like, what? What does that mean?
I'm sorry. I've only ever been with people that have been my co-pilots. I thought that's how relationships work. And then we have
Schwimmer confessing after... Heche is like, well, something happened that shouldn't have happened if two people were really in love. Schwimmer interjects.
Yeah. Who would have guessed?
And anyway, we watch Anne Heche be wishy-washy about getting on the plane or not. Harrison Ford ends up going to meet her at the stage, trying to stop her at the airport. and we think she's gone, but then
I
of course
almost liked this movie. Like
she had actually
knew
left.
I knew it wasn't going to end that way, but yeah, like the plane left and he tried to chase after it, but of course, like it goes away. And for a second, I was just like, that would be a good ending. Just like nothing. Yeah, no, he missed his opportunity, and so yeah, they go on about their lives. Yeah. But no, I figured either one, he would have to like go all the way out to New York and have some big hurtful
thank God
speech.
that wasn't the case.
Yeah, that would have been even worse. At least they, just kept shooting and 2 more minutes and then we're done.
And so yeah, she comes back out of the plane thing, arguing with the French airliners.
Yeah, like the custom agents, I guess, or I don't know, the security, I guess, because they're like, oh, you got off this plane and you want your bag. Like, we need to check your bag.
I guess maybe they're in French Polynesia. Yeah, which I didn't catch in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, this is the only time French people have been in the movie, but they're there. Strangely.
Yeah. And again, like they're questioning her about her bag, thinking maybe she's a terrorist or something, I guess. Yet as soon as Harrison Ford comes up and is like, hang on, I need to talk to her and tell this lady I love her, they just like give him the floor. Right. Yeah. They're just like, no, okay, yeah, whatever.
He speaks some really bad French. He's like, pardon, mon ami, monsieurs. And she's like,
pardon.
Why did you come back for me? He's like, I decided my life is too simple. I want to complicate the hell out of it. As if that's a callback to a line. I don't think it is.
Well, I guess like even when he just before in the hospital, he was like, "Oh, let's just keep it simple, I don't like complicated."
Oh yeah, I was,
and he's always about leading the simple life, and
I was kind of checked out at that point. Then one of the sloppiest endings I've ever seen, because it's all ADR, just like the mountain scene. It's ADR'd from far away, except they are ADRing lines while they are kissing, and so it's like, what do you? You can't. Are you seriously trying to posit that they're talking right now while they're kissing?
It's basically Grandpa gets his dick wet. The end.
Yeah, and I mean, just more fucking ADR jokes, and these are jokes they can come up with afterwards. Still, none of them land. Still, fucking horrible.
Yeah, they had so many chances. And see, and that's the thing. If a lot of these are ADR'd, and that's what they came up with, what was the original jokes that they ADR'd over? Like, how bad were those?
I just don't think there was anything there, and they just
like we gotta punch this up, man.
This is fucking threadbare. Like, I don't know if we can sell this as a movie the way it is.
8 minutes, Heche for 12 minutes. Okay, yeah, let's make this work.
Let's
do
what we can.
Like, I got through this movie, and it's mediocre. Like, I didn't completely hate it though. Like, it was okay watching it. It wasn't painful to watch. It was just bad. But the thing that made me hate this fucking movie is that after all of that, they end the credits on a fucking Bob Marley song, and it just seems so weird and out of place, and just that was the last thing I said to this movie.
Oh, Han Solo, how did we end up here? Sorry, I was just thinking wistfully of Harrison Ford's erstwhile career. Join us next time when we discuss Gleaming the Cube, a movie made for teenagers about rollerblading subculture. So I'm sure it's going to be intelligent. Next time, here at Crush Celluloid.